Richard has left Twitter. Dinamo is third in the league. Hajduk is first. What year is it? God knows.
For
And the
me not to be on Twitter, I think that's about 2008.
well, yeah, around that time was when Hajduk was last first. Hajduk was last first in 2009. So
Yeah.
yeah, not good, is it? But it's good for me. I'm happy. But we're facing Rijeka this weekend. But we're back. We're back, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully for uh for a bit more like a bit more consistency.
I mean, we'll see with that.
It's really up to me. I was sick for 2 weeks. I had my birthday. I had my exams. Basically, I wasn't doing well the last month.
Mm,
But neither has been Dinamo nor Rijeka nor Hajduk. They've just been doing mediocre.
that's a good segue.
Thank you. We've kept the segues. We kept the segues. The segues don't change. So where should we start? Should we start from the top?
Yeah, that's
Start
a
with
good
whatever
place to.
with what everybody wants to hear, right?
Yeah, it's three bad teams. Well, I think
Fighting
it's
for the title.
yeah. I think saying three bad teams is maybe a little bit unfair. It's one bad team, one okay team,
Okay.
and one okay team that you just don't trust. And
Okay. Yeah.
top of the ones I don't trust. Let's just say that. And third are the bad team.
I
Um,
I don't trust anybody.
no.
Nobody has been able to keep a lead or really get into any kind of like championship winning form.
Yeah, and I mean, we've obviously said it before. I think we were saying it last season, when Dinamo were dropping points, they were just keeping on getting let off the hook.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what's happened again this season. Obviously, okay, we've Hajduk top now, but let's be honest, should they really, on the balance of play, have beaten Goritza at the weekend? Probably not. I don't think too many Hajduk fans would disagree with me on that one. Um, Rijeka are at least consistent in so much as you don't expect them to put in an absolute dog of a performance.
Yeah.
Um, but they still have the problem that they've had all season, which is they do not have that central striker who is going to reliably put in enough goals to take the to shoulder the responsibility that the midfield's having to pick up. As for Dinamo, they're just bad. And I think when Cannavaro took over, one of the things that I sort of read up on his time in China, okay, that was actually fairly successful, but fans
Yeah.
didn't want it. Fans didn't want him there because he played awful football. It's like we'd rather not win and not have to watch your football than win and have to watch your football. And the difference between managing in China and managing in HNL is that in China, when he was managing there, he could just spend 20 million in and bring in some ridiculously overpowered Brazilian.
Yeah.
And here he's brought in Kanga, who looks like a guy who scored once in a year.
But I mean, okay, so you know what? Let's start with Dinamo because I have a lot of thoughts about Kanga. Uh, dude. So ever since he's come in, he's scored one goal, just one against Gorica, the
Yeah.
header. He's gotten very close. He's hit the post, I think, 3, 4 times. He can score. He gets close. He can shoot. Everything else, mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
The technical ability isn't there. The first touch is just reminds me of Kemal Ademi at the start of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite obviously he when he was at Young Boys, he had a very good record, but you can see he's not got the confidence there. And you're right, he's hitting the post. I mean, obviously against Avon, he hit the post with a decent effort. There was one where he miscontrolled and just wasted a chance, and obviously he missed a penalty, which again that's you want your that sort of striker to go up there for that opportunity, so you can get a goal, get yourself some confidence. We're against 10 men, this shouldn't be a problem, but
Yeah.
it was a problem, and I can't say I watched him at Cardiff, but
Cardiff fans would probably say, "Thank God you didn't," because
yeah,
the amount of Cardiff fans, whenever I do anything around Kanga, any post it's just they gang up on it like seagulls,
bluebirds rather than
bluebirds.
seagulls.
Yeah,
If we came from Brighton, I'd let you have seagulls.
they're not
Um,
Brighton, yeah. But I kind of, I mean, I kind of like him in a way because he's just physical. He's just a threat just off
well,
the bat. But
but he's not because he doesn't score.
yeah, but the problem is, obviously nobody wants to defend him. So obviously, if you have one guy on him, a second guy is gonna have to come in to at least physically stop him from running in behind, doing
Mhm,
anything. And that's how Dinamo got their first goal against Slaven. I mean, their only goal. He
mhm.
pulled two defenders with him and left Stojkovic. Now that's a problem for Slaven's midfield, who didn't track back really. But Kanga pulled in two defenders, and RPG just had a easy cross to make to Stojkovic at the top of the box.
Yeah,
So he's not that bad. He is not great, I'll admit, but he's not as bad as people make him out to be.
it's one of those where he's been put in positions which have made him look worse, i.e., missing a penalty, getting sent off and stuff.
And I
It,
mean the shot against who did Dinamo play in the cup? Bednya?
uh,
Was it Bednya?
yeah,
Yeah, I think so. That shot in the cup was just, oh my god, not even. The NFL was last week, so I was like, he probably watched that and was like, I can recreate that.
yeah, and I mean, even if so we've not had this for a while, even if you sort of go back to that cup game, Dinamo were bad and probably I don't want to say they should have been knocked out, but they absolutely could have been knocked out.
They were
Um,
very close to being knocked
yeah,
out.
yeah, and you watch the game and it wouldn't have been undeserved, and they put out a pretty strong side there. I think there's obviously other issues there. Baturina is an issue. I don't care
Yeah,
how talented he is. He has
not
not
in
really
form at
turned up.
all. No.
He was run. They relied on him too much in the autumn, and just ran him out of energy. And he came back and had a couple of decent games at the start, but then it hasn't linked up together to the point where I would say, at this juncture, if I was scouting Dinamo looking for an EPL move, I'd probably be saving my money for Luka Stojkovic rather than for Baturina, because that's just what we've seen this season is the emergence of one attacking midfielder for Baturina. I hesitate to say fading, but if you're looking at him over a season and you're looking at him at say a decent side in the top 5 leagues who will have European commitments, you can ask, actually, can this guy really play 50 games a season? The
Yeah.
jury's probably going to say no at the minute. Whereas Stojkovic would kind of see, well, actually, yeah, he has delivered in most games this season. So that's one issue. Obviously, there's a lack of discipline. From what we saw at the end of the derby, in terms of obviously throwing balls on the pitch like a bunch of children, and then
Yeah.
slapping keepers. It's not a good look. But also it sort of says, what if you're kind of are watching that, are you not turning around and saying, what the flip are you doing? I'd imagine that would concern me as to how much control he has over the team he's got there as well. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of problems, and
Yeah.
they've done the Dinamo thing, which is they just can't think of a solution. So what they're going to try and do is at some point be linked to just bring in Maribor's entire sporting department into the club again, which that's about the third or fourth time I've seen that being linked to it. And it never worked. It never comes off, and it never would work either. But it's what's the thinking there? I think's the feeling that comes out from the club at the minute. You just don't really know what's going on in their heads. Not in a good way.
And for Baturna, if you can name a good or like a good game above a good game he's had this season, you can name 5, 6 games, even if at that. Obviously, Istra, the first game of the season, 3 assists, just was top tier that game. Monaco, Milan was great there. Obviously, Milan without a man, so he really had loads of space.
Mhm.
And Slaven and Lokomotiva, the first game of Bielica in charge. I remember he was quite good in that game, but then again, they did beat Lokomotiva 4-0, I think.
Mhm.
And I think
But
this last game against Slaven was okay from him.
for what you're trying to sell him for as a club,
Yeah,
it is not meeting where he needs to be. He's not a 25 million player. It's
not
the
right
honest
now.
truth this
Not
season.
yeah, not after this season. He definitely, especially without Petkovic, you would expect him to step up.
Mm. I think
But
that's
yeah,
the other thing is that you have so many people who quite clearly are going to leave the club this summer. Obviously, Sucic we know is going already.
yeah, he's already gone.
Baturina has his agents basically come out and said, "I'm going." Petkovic has come out and said, "I'm going."
His agent, actually.
Yeah. Sorry. Obviously Kanga won't be around.
You think?
No, I mean, he certainly. If they go into next season with him as their main striker, as their first choice main striker, there's a problem there.
Yeah, obviously,
specifically that Mieres hasn't picked up their calls. But it's not only that where there's issues in terms of the team building. Obviously centre back partnership is an issue because Theo Katrin is 35, 36 now.
Yeah.
He's getting on.
Ristovski is also getting on the older side.
Yeah, I think he is leaving as well. I'm sure I've seen something
Uh,
that
the
says
so
he's looking to go.
I think just yesterday, Sportska Novosti reported that Dinamo is gonna sit down with Teofil Katrin and Ristovski to talk about a new contract.
Mhm. But I mean, again, that's not really. It's nothing against the players. It's not really a good sign when you're just right. We need to sort out 1 year for these veterans because Bernard Torrente's fine, but Mamai.
Mamai has been
Let's not
absolutely
ask what
awful.
Dinamo fans think of him.
Oh god! Not even just Dinamo fans, just HNL fans in general. Like everybody, for some reason, agrees to dislike him. I mean, for some reason, we know why. He's just shit.
But he wasn't before he came, and I think actually, to be fair, until Bayern, he wasn't. I think that'd probably be a fair statement.
But
I mean,
just like that was 3-2 games before
yeah,
Bayern.
yeah. I mean, even in the midfield, you also said, but Ademi is not getting younger, and he had a very brief resurgence under Bielsa, but not
That's
showing
it
anymore. Misic is obviously now hitting.
He's back.
Past, he's back, but again, age profile. You may feel you're going to be thinking we need something there. Left back has not been fixed. So basically, there's Neverstitch and RPG. And that's about
Piazza.
And
Piazza. Piazza is awesome. Piazza is good.
And that's about it for next season. But they look like a team that are breaking up.
Yeah, and Mudraja is also coming in. That's essentially confirmed at this point.
Yeah, of course. And I've seen them say that we're bringing in as our Baturina replacement, which is... I mean, he's had, obviously, a great time at Lokomotiva. There's no doubt about that. But that is a downgrade. There's not even...
I mean, also at the same point, you have Luka Vrbacic, who's also at Lokomotiva alone, obviously not doing bits as Mudraja is, but obviously Vrbacic has been good for Lokomotiva. He's I mean, he scored 3 goals, but he's
Hmm.
still 19. He could be the next project. He has the quality, definitely.
Hmm.
Mudraji, on the other hand, is how old? 27 or 28? 27.
Hmm. Yeah, he feels older, I think, because obviously he spent his time in Copenhagen, then went to Olympia and Rijeka.
Yeah,
And I think at both of those clubs, it's fair to say he not only did he not have a good time, you were like, what was the hype about this person in the first place? So, maybe that's a big club mentality for him that he struggles to adapt to that sort of style of football or environment. I'm not sure, but
yeah,
I'd be if I was Dino, I'd be bringing in Madratia so I can have him there as a squad rotation option. I would not be bringing him in as he's going to be playing 75% of my games.
yeah. And especially if so, Kolenovic is also rumored to leave. So if none of the strikers stay, that's another position you got to fill with at least two okay strikers, one great, at least one good. So Dinamo is in a bad place, and obviously the left back hasn't been sorted out for some reason. Franjic has been brought back, and his return has been. I don't want to swear, but I really don't know any way other
You
how to
already
describe it.
have.
And yeah, but like I'm trying to find atrocious. It just looks like the Dinamo scouting team came to Cannavaro and just be like, hey, this dude played left back for us a few seasons ago. He can do it again, probably.
Yeah.
Gets injured in the first friendly, gets injured in his first official game, comes back, scores an own goal, and just looks out of place.
Mhm. Which is the problem of joining a team that aren't doing very well. I mean, I think to sort of bring it back to this
And he's
season,
not a left back, obviously.
yeah,
So to
that too.
clear it up.
I mean, to sort of bring back to season, I mean, even we talk about this past weekend against Southend Blue, yeah, it was 1-0, but it was 1-0 against 10 men. And
Yeah.
it was one, yeah, they had chances. I mean, obviously, Kanga missed a
Kanger
penalty.
had himself alone had 2 chances.
Yeah,
And Baturna
Piazza
also
had,
had a 1-on-1.
yeah, and Sudak
Yeah.
saved from Piazza, a really
Yeah.
brilliant save as
Brilliant
well.
save.
But again, if you play against 10 men for 3/4 of the game, it shouldn't be finishing 1-0, particularly when you were already 1-0 up before the red card.
Yeah.
And that's not just applying to Dino, that would apply to Hajduk and Rijeka as well. The amount of mental energy that you have to expend because you've not put a game to bed. And okay, Seven didn't really have chances. They had a couple of
But
half chances, but
they didn't
nothing.
have chances, but they looked okay. They didn't
Mm-hmm,
look like they were panicking with 10 men. They just continued to do their thing, which obviously didn't work because you're missing a man. So
mm-hmm,
you're immediately playing under the cosh.
yeah.
But they still did their thing. They could have had a chance. They had half chances, as you did say,
Mm-hmm.
but they still did do their thing and were, not letting Dinamo just have the ball.
Yeah, and like I say, it's that mental energy that you're expending as Dynamo that you shouldn't have to expend. They've come out of that
Yeah,
game knackered, and really they should have had 30 minutes where they can just completely take the foot off the pedal because they should have
yeah,
been
but they couldn't.
2 or 3 up, but they couldn't.
Yeah, Dinamo fans were obviously just hoping that the whistle comes. Which I mean, the problem with Dinamo is their defense has been atrocious this season. Like no, like not a single manager from Jakirovic, from Bielica, from Cannavaro can find a back four that could work at least for 50 minutes.
Mhm. But at least with Jakirovic, there was so much going on in attack. It didn't
Yeah,
matter. And Cannavaro is a defensive manager.
yeah, and, and
There's no
it's
two
and
ways
it's
about it.
still very bad.
Yeah.
The defense has been letting them down. The attack somewhat is fine because they've scored the most goals. They've scored 48 goals in the league. Second is Rijeka with 40. and everybody praises Rijeka for the beautiful football, for the amount of goals they score. And meanwhile, Dinamo has scored 48, but they've conceded 34, which is, I mean, Istra and Gorica have conceded 35, one more than
Yeah.
Dinamo.
And I mean, there can't be too many seasons where Dinamo have conceded more than that over a full season.
Yeah, no.
Um,
You're probably going to have to look back to the early 2000s to find something like that.
yeah, exactly. I mean, and we're talking about a season which has still a third of it to go, really.
We still have 11 games left.
Yeah.
And if they continue this trend of like conceding, they could concede, it's like what, 1.5 per game? If they continue it, they're going to concede like 48, 45.
So just checking, it says on 34 at the minute. The last time they conceded more than 34 in a season was 2004, 2005.
Yeah. My God.
When they conceded 37.
And this season still has 11 games to go. So, yeah. Nevstic has also just, I mean, obviously Zagoras did have to step in for a few games when Nevstic was injured. He has that one save in him like every game. But I think overall, all three keepers from the big three teams fighting for the title just haven't been doing well lately because the pressure is gathering up and nobody has put up a great save in a must save moment. So yeah, and we remember Labrovic last season in the last 3-4 games for Rijeka was just letting everything in.
Yeah, and they could do with Susak.
Yeah, Susak and Zelenica has been doing okay. He just Varazin is okay. Like they don't concede a lot of chances, so we can't really rate Zelenica that much.
But I mean, he's sort of on that. Because we'll talk about how shortly he's sort of on that Banic level where you kind of know when you see him. Actually, he's probably good. He's got good saves in him. He can be quite reliable in the right situation, but is never actually going to get pulled up from that situation to be at a top club.
Yeah. Anything else to add about Dinamo?
I mean, they're horrible, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Their next
they
game
still might win it.
God, if they do, Hajduk and Rijeka really need to shut down for like 2 seasons and really reevaluate the club. Rijeka not so much, Hajduk probably.
Yeah.
Because Rijeka has obviously sold Smolcic, Galesic, and Pasalic, and they're still doing okay. They've continued the form they've had. Okay, they lost 2 games, but they've gotten back on the right track.
Yeah, I think it makes sense now to move on to them, doesn't it? That's in no small part. One, bringing Duchok has helped them have a focal point that they didn't have before. Andrich didn't work out for whatever reason. Chop isn't great. Obviously we've written career obituaries from him in the past, but he knows he knows his way at this level, and it takes the weight off the midfield, which is what Kanga isn't at the minute. In terms of Tony Fruk, Fruk was having to do everything, and just having that extra option there. Okay, Rijeka results haven't necessarily gotten better as a result of being there, but it's taking responsibility off, and that's what we sort of indicated with Labrovic last season. Having that mental weight of carrying things for so long, eventually you break.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't think Zlomisic will be able to pull out a much better performance than Labrovic if it comes down to it. Especially if you look at Rijeka's last few games. The second to last game of the season is Hajduk Rijeka at Podjud, which, if it stays like this, is deciding the title. So, and I mean, both clubs just I don't trust them. Neither Hajduk
No.
nor Rijeka, especially in this upcoming weekend, which on Sunday, the Adriatic Derby, Altrujevica, Rijeka playing at home, sold out stadium almost. I think there's like 100 tickets left. Mišković has risen the prices again, not surprising. He's really trying his hardest to just to set himself apart from the fans, but they're still fighting for the title. So can the
They're still
fans?
paying.
You're still gonna pay. Your club is fighting for the title, so Mišković knows what he's doing. But yeah, Duečop, I think if it comes down to it, Duečop can pull out some great performances in the final few games because obviously experienced has been at all three clubs. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Fruk.
I think that's it. For Rijeka, they're performing to where they should be. Like you mentioned, obviously, who's gone from them this season?
Yeah.
It's three very, very good players.
Not even this season, just this winter.
Yeah, it's a lot for any side to have to deal with. They're not, and they're always run on a very tight budget, and in a very, the business model doesn't change for what their expectations are on a season are.
Yeah. Mišković always sticks to his plan.
Yeah, which is a great thing. That's I think what most fans want to see from their clubs. Okay, you can have issues with personalities and so on and so forth, but you want to know the direction of travel of the club at the end of the day. But they are performing to the sum of their parts. Dinamo aren't performing to the sum of their parts. Hajduk aren't either. And that's kind of where we might end up, is that one okay team is able to win the title over two better teams, but better teams that are flawed.
Yeah. And we gotta talk about Fruk. Obviously, came back from his red card, atrocious tackle on who was it? Duvnjak. I think it was on Duvnjak against Varaždin. Came back, destroyed Hajduk at Podjut, threw Rijeka into the semifinals of the cup, where Rijeka is the favorite. If we're being honest, the draw hasn't happened yet, but you have Slaven, you have Istra.
Yeah,
and you have Osijek. Yeah. So Rijeka has a very good chance, but I think the other three clubs are gonna throw everything at the cup because it's your chance to get European League, Europa League football.
Yeah, exactly. If you're Osijek particularly, I mean, again, we'll touch on them shortly, I'm sure, but they had expectations that they should be getting that through the league, and it's
they are seventh.
Yes.
I mean, our season predictions have turned out well.
Yeah, I mean, Brook, I think, let's be honest, this summer he's going somewhere. There's no.
I mean, if he doesn't now, I don't know when he is, especially now after the call up.
And this, I haven't seen. I've never really seen anyone actually linked to him. I watch you a lot, and I like why, because his next step should be. Let's be honest. What is he loaned from?
Fiorentina to
Fiorentina.
Fiorentina.
He honestly, if you watched him, could you not see him playing at Fiorentina now?
I definitely could.
And
just a Serie A, like at least a mid-table Serie A side.
Yeah, that's where he should be. For me, scouting for a club outside the top 5 leagues, I'd be like, I'd like to recommend him, but but surely he's not in a price range.
I doubt. Who could maybe afford him? Like Belgium again. Belgium has been a very good spot for us, especially with Ivanovic. Frigan has been doing well. I don't need to mention Vušković. I still don't understand why he hasn't been called up by Dalic, considering our center back options. Just give him the call up, give him the experience as soon as possible, because he's gonna be there sooner rather than later.
Yeah, but like I say, it's Belgium, maybe Netherlands, maybe the US.
Maybe the Netherlands. Obviously, Perisic is doing very well in the Netherlands. I cannot explain the amount of rage I feel when I see Perisic scoring in the Champions League. Yeah. Anyways, let me not get into a Perisic rage, but let's go back to Rijeka shortly. Jalovic, I mean, if it continues like this, manager of the season, I think. Like even if Rijeka doesn't win it again, finishes second, and possibly gets the cup, Jalovic is definitely manager of the season because everybody else, if Gattuso gets the league, then maybe, but it's still gonna be. It depends on how Hajduk does in the
Yeah,
end.
there's not really competition, is
There's
there?
no compet.
I
Kovacevic,
mean,
actually
yeah,
Kovacevic.
yeah. I mean,
Whoever
again, that
whoever
probably
gets
depends
fourth,
where they finish.
whoever
Or
gets fourth between Varaždin and Slaven.
yeah, or if have him come bring the cup, then
Yeah,
that sorted, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, there's not really been too much in the way of exceptional coaching performances. I think it's fair to say.
no. Silva Shabraya mentioning like long-term coaches. Well, sackings that is.
Mm-hmm.
Silvio Shabraya is gonna leave the club, which was rumored
Mm-hmm.
to be this winter, but it's turned to this summer, and Nik Jelovic will take over Lokomotiva.
So, yeah. No,
Bit of a
we don't know what
downgrade.
it's going to be like. We don't know what it's going to be like. So that's. I mean, he's done quite a bit of coaching, was
He's
he
done
not?
well. He's done
Yeah,
well with the under-19s.
yeah. So it's a hard one to transfer across from international youth grade football to club football, just in terms of the regularity of it, the amount of time that you have
Yeah,
with your players, and also you're dealing with senior players as well. But we'll see, because quite aside from anything, we don't really know how he'll want to play.
yeah. And another topic I just remembered I want to talk about is Lyndon Salahi. He's obviously been playing for the club nonstop. Hasn't signed a new contract despite the numerous reports there were in January about him sitting down with Rijeka and talking about a new contract. No contract yet, and you have just under 3 months left until that expires.
He's waiting for the Champions League dollar.
He's waiting to see if Rijeka wins the title. If not, he's out of there.
Yeah, well, but why not wait until
Yeah,
he'll be able to get a much better contract on the open market that way.
very true. And Jankovic has been very poor. Also, what I wanted to mention, just hasn't looked good. I mean, just in general, like Rijeka's signings have been okay, but you need to give them time. Dogan is still adapting, just doesn't get a lot of playing time. He still needs to adapt to the HNL, and I don't know. And who
Yeah,
else? Manolo obviously hasn't played in a year now, and you're throwing him on against Šibenik and hoping that he can make a difference, but he's not played genuine league football in so long.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
Rijeka like they need, but they don't have the rotation. They don't have really the depth to be fighting for the title. So if you get an injury or two, that team is gonna get even more screwed on top of the transfers.
yeah, yeah. They couldn't. Like I say, if Fruit got injured, that's them.
Yeah,
That's them.
that's probably it.
Yeah,
Who's gonna come on? Then you probably move Jankovic to central midfield in the starting line because Jankovic has been playing on the wing now.
mm-hmm.
Because obviously Jalovic doesn't trust Manalo. I mean, Joaquin has been doing very good on the left side after really getting it after last season where he was on loan,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, so he's doing very good.
yeah.
Everything
So
else, meh.
yeah. Well, we've avoided them, so shall we just go on to Hajduk?
Yeah. Where should we start with Hajduk? There's so many ways to start this.
I mean, they're top.
We're top. We are top somehow.
Look,
Uh,
this is the thing. You obviously know I've gone out about it all last season, and I think probably the season before. You keep on finding yourselves in a title race, which is great, but somehow you manage to keep finding yourselves in a title race without actually ever having a side that beats sides properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's one goal here, one goal there. It was it? I'm trying to remember because I looked at this a couple of weeks ago. I think Hajduk have won games by more than one goal 6 times this season. And
so let's go back.
Rijeka, it was 9, if I remember rightly. I did write a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, so we beat Šibenik, we beat Gorica by more than 2 goals at home. We beat, what did we beat by more than 2 goals? Who was that we beat by more than 2 goals? My God. I know Gorica and Šibenik. Slaven. We beat Slaven 2-0 away. We beat Slaven. We beat Osijek now, not that long ago.
Yeah.
I
think that was the 6th.
Yeah, it was. That was the last win we had, and I think that's it. Is that counting Europe? Because we beat Torshavn 3-1.
I wasn't counting you. Here we go.
2-0 actually, not 3-1, 2-0.
Yeah. So I've done this maths after the Osijek and Dinamo 4-goal games. Of Hajduk's 12 wins at that point, 8 had been by a single goal. For Rijeka, it was 5 of 12. So there's a big difference in how those games are being won. One's very close, one is less.
Yeah, but that's just Hajduk. I don't know why or how, but like Gattuso is obviously not happy with it. Also, he mentions always in the press conference that he doesn't redirect the team to defend after scoring, but it just mentally happens for the team because it's Hajduk. At the end of the day, you're fighting for the title. You take the lead. You're like, we don't want to lose this.
Yeah.
if we lose this, those fucking fans, did you see what they did last season when we lost to Dinamo in the semi-final of the cup? We don't want to do that again. Yeah, I hope something like that doesn't happen again. But this Sunday is going to be a big test for both sides.
Yeah, I think the thing is, it's not how you win titles at the end of the day. Only winning by 1 goal here and there. Speaking as a Celtic fan,
I mean, if we were doing it consistently, then you win titles like that. Okay, you get the win. You have the winning mentality. You have the mentality to get the goal and keep it 1-0. But
when you haven't actually won anything,
yeah, but like at that, but we don't do it consistently, especially in this year. We've won 1 game, drew, lost, won, drew, lost. We have no kind of form. We had form at the start of the season, but then in November we just went back to shit.
Yeah, so did everyone, to be fair. But
well, yeah.
I mean, I think that's obviously the thing. Look at the Gorica game, and Gorica, they haven't had a great season. There's been reasons why they've not had a great season, and to be fair, they've added and improved in the winter to
very much improved. They added depth. Starovic has gotten players for his style of football, and it's working. Pajaziti also been very good this past weekend.
Him coming back from injury is a big help. Obviously, Alesi, as well, a big reinforcement.
Especially after Pershir got his injury again and is out until the end of the season.
Yeah. But Hajduk's winter business is what? Let's be honest with Szego. And
Mlakar.
Yeah.
And Rusin, but Rusin has played 3 games from the bench and started 1, I think, actually.
And Szego's not hit the ground running. He's not got.
He's been good. He's been
good. He's not got the same role as he had at Varacine.
If anybody was expecting that, no. Nobody should have expected that because obviously you're playing with Levi up front, not Dabro, who cannot finish a chance.
But yeah, in terms of just the level of activity and productivity that's coming from that is, and it's a notch down. I think it's fair to say. And Mlakar is, I mean,
he hasn't played a lot, so
yeah, Mlakar's a funny one because he's obviously had good moves in the past and has had good periods of form in the past. But again, I've watched him a lot over the years, and like, you're only just about at this level.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, but Shego has been good for me. He has definitely been an improvement on the left wing because Biuk hasn't done a lot, barely anything since coming in the summer.
I think we all predicted that.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, we all hoped. I mean, the Hajduk fans hoped that we could get the Biuk like he did against that one game against Rijeka, where he was exceptional, scored a brilliant goal, dribbled past the Rijeka defense like 3-4 times. We just got Biuk, who really doesn't have any end finishing product.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, that's why he's back here and not tearing.
And he's on the bench again, so he's back on the bench, and he won't be available again. He wasn't available against Gorica due to a groin injury, and he won't be available again against Rijeka due to the same injury. So yeah. But yeah,
at least you got a few million for him back in the day.
I mean, we got a lot of money considering how he's been playing now.
Yeah.
Nicolicius, please come back if possible. We've been letting players go on a free. I mean, on a free with a percentage of the next sale, but still we're getting nothing, no immediate money, which we need, especially after not selling Pukstas, and Pukstas not playing now has just put his price way down the floor.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a very, very different season to last year. I think it's fair to say. But I mean, like I say, at home you shouldn't even. I think back to the point I was going to make 5 minutes ago. Even when we're talking about obviously Gorica being better this time around, after you still your Hajduk, you shouldn't be getting outplayed by them at your own house. Let's be honest. Even when you sort of look at the goals that were disallowed, the Ndoka goal, I think that was harsh to disallow that in terms of sort of the manner of the handball that was.
Yeah, we have very split opinions. So Skomina said that it was a handball, and if the hand wasn't there, the ball goes past the Leslie, and there's no way the goal happens. So it is a handball. The refereeing commission, who I just at this point just seems to like any kind of controversial decision, is whatever the ref said was the right call.
Yeah, but I mean, it's one of those where it's so close to the hand. What on earth is it possibly meant to do? In that instance, I think it's one of those where the application of the handball rule isn't logical. I mean, obviously you have the Jewish. I mean, okay, fair enough. It was offside.
Just offside, yeah.
I would note that it should have been called as a goal on the field, just purely.
It's Frank Lampard all over again.
Well, not only that. I mean, it's not aside from the rules of football. It's not possible to hit the underside of the bar, have it bounce, and come back off the underside of the bar without it having gone behind the line. That's not the laws of football. No way. That's the laws of physics.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe rather than just teaching refs the rules of football, maybe there just needs to be like a half-hour physics lesson in there, just to get it right. Guys, this is a goal. That's thermodynamics, right?
I think somebody pointed out, I don't remember watching it back, but I remember somebody pointed out that the linesman was not where he was supposed to be. So that probably had something to do with it, yeah. But another controversial call, which I just want to touch on as soon as we moved on to the handballs, was Istra was robbed this weekend the handball from Duvnyak
Hmm.
was a handball. I was watching it live and I was like, there's no way he doesn't give it, right? Calls the like, as soon as the VAR clears it, he's just like, yep, that's it, end of the match.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to go out.
Yeah, no questions. And at the time, also at the time, oh yeah, in the Hajduk Gorica match, at the time, 4 minutes. As soon as it's over, even the ball was in play for like a minute. It's called immediately as soon as it hits 4 minutes, and the at the time and the Rijeka Šibenik, same thing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I don't know what the referees were on this weekend, especially the fourth officials, but you guys have watches, right?
yes, but don't necessarily work.
Apparently. But yeah, to go back on Hajduk, Hajduk as a Hajduk fan and just in general, we just gotta hope that Livaya can stay fit. That last season doesn't happen where he gets injured in the last quarter of the season, as he did last season against Dinamo in at the start of April. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it happens every season, to be fair.
Listen, listen, don't do this to me. Don't do it. Don't do this. We need him, and I hope he can just. We just need to pray to God and every single available God, every religion, for him to just stay fit. Because without him, we don't look half the team we are, especially against Gorica. And I want to touch on against Gorica. As soon as Krovinovic came on, we actually looked like we could pass the ball.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's sort of indicating, obviously for the majority of the midfielders that you've got, they're very much their runners. Aside from, like I say, Rakitic and Krovinovic, Chigo is a runner. Kalik is a runner. They're not those technical players. That's not their skill set, and it's not quite got that balance.
Yeah, we need Rapper. Somebody graffitied on the wall, I think, in Split. Rapper will save us all. But the problem is he's not getting back anytime soon, I think.
No.
He obviously he played a friendly or two in the winter preparations. Was on the bench a few times this year, but obviously got a new injury due to his knee injury. So
Mhm.
it's not looking good. Maybe like in the last 5 6 games of the season, but until then, I hardly think we're gonna see him.
Yeah, but I think sort of that criticism of Hajduk is there's just too many. There are too many runners. I think
Yeah,
it's fair to say. It's not really that technically adapted side, which seems a weird thing to say about a side that has Ivan Rakitic in it. But there's so many. Higovic again, great runner.
yeah,
Put ball at his feet. There you go. That's a great skill to have. But again, if you're trying to control games and you need to turn it down a notch, keep possession, and just really take the sting out of a game, which they needed to do on against Goritza,
yeah.
and didn't manage to. You don't necessarily have the players just to right. We're just going to pass it around for 45 seconds, a minute, make them chase, make the opposition.
Tire out.
Yeah, and I've not got West up at the minute, but I wouldn't like to know what your PPDA is.
Yeah, yeah. But we need Krovinovic back in the starting lineup because just with him, we just look way better.
Yeah.
Especially Rakitic. Rakitic bounces off Krovinovic, and they both make each other better because they are both similar type of player. Rakitic obviously way more progressive in his passes, like tries way more long balls.
Mhm.
Uh, Krovinovic is simpler, likes to make space, like short bursts, and make space for himself and other players. But I mean, Puksas has been getting Puksas, Sigur have been getting the run ahead at this point, and Sigur for some reason is still getting moved to right wing,
Mhm.
which you have you have Bamba, you have Durdov, you have Rusin, you have Mlakar. You can put the two of them on the right side, and I think they will do I'm not saying Sigurd can't do right wing, but he is way more utilized as a defensive midfielder or as a right back.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hrgovic is taking the right back spot, so I don't think Gattuso is going to be moving from that. But I think the midfield of Sigurd, Krovinovic, and Rakitic is probably the best, even though Kalik has been doing good this season.
Yeah. So I suppose the question is then who wins it?
God knows.
It's one of those where you feel from watching the sides that whoever wins, we all kind of lose a little bit. I mean, I'm sure if Hajduk win, you may not disagree with that opinion, but
listen, if Hajduk wins, nobody will heal from me for a week.
Yeah.
The Twitter account is gonna go on hiatus for 7 days. It's just gonna be probably like clips of me screaming my lungs out in a bar at the rewind split, and that's probably it.
And then the next day you sack Gattuso.
Or Gattuso leaves.
Yeah.
Because at this point he said that these 8-9 months at Hajduk has felt like 5 years.
I mean, watching 90 minutes at Hajduk at the minute feels
it
feels longer than 90 minutes. Let's be honest.
It drains me. The match against Gorica drained me so much, and the match against Varaždin. The match against Varaždin where we won by a penalty, it drained me. I was watching it. I was like, why am I watching this?
Yeah, I think that's one thing. It's just football in general. There is an enjoyment to watching sides that aren't very good.
Yeah,
a side that is inept. It's you get an entertainment value of just the You don't get that with Hajduk. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like watching a really long movie. It's just very bloated. And it just goes on too long, and be like, "Come on, can we end, please?"
Yeah, finish up.
Yeah, just let's have something happen.
Yeah,
but yeah, it isn't. It's like, I have got a movie in my head, and it is a box office flop in the 80s.
In the 80s?
In the 80s, it's the Something Heaven. Something Heaven. It ended. Yes.
With Heaven.
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's Gate it's a Western, but it's exactly like Hajduk.
How long is it?
It's very long. I'm on the Wikipedia right now.
Oh my god, it's 5 hours, 25 minutes.
Running time, see alternative versions. So, yeah.
God, but yeah, oh my god.
That's watching a Hajduk anyway.
Yeah, I also want to touch on, we already mentioned the controversial decisions, right? In Hajduk Gorica. Nenad Črnko, the president of Gorica, has come out on Facebook and posted a really long post, which is just saying that the refs are, doing this for Hajduk, going against Gorica. And every single time I see any club complain, I'm just like, where were you last season after War Leagues? And 8 teams side of Dinamo, Hajduk and Istra were the only ones that wanted a reform of the refereeing organization. Everybody else agreed that the pressure was what would I say? Was too much on the refs, that Hajduk was doing too much. But just no. And you stuck by them, and now you're mad at those same referees you defended 1 year ago.
Nothing good ever happens on Facebook.
Yeah, what's gonna happen good on Facebook? Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, my God. Anything else?
I think not for those 3 sides.
Yeah, who's your favorite? Okay, let's end this section of the top 3 sides. Who's your favorite?
I mean, I can't see. It's still hard not to think Dinamo, but I say that just because
But
it's
we're
it's
so
hard
used to it.
not it's hard not to
We're,
see Hajduk and Rijeka tripping up over themselves.
yeah, and we're so
Um,
used to seeing Dinamo. I mean, it's hard not to see it.
yeah, think that's it. You obviously got the game this Sunday, as you say. If Hajduk win this Sunday, and Dinamo
That's 4 points clear.
there's 4 points clear of Rijeka, then I think you can legitimately start to believe.
Yeah.
I'll allow it. Particularly if Dinamo drop points to Lokomotiva, which isn't out of the realms of possibility at all.
Well, Lokomotiva are without Mondražija this weekend.
Oh, they moved him early.
No, they say it's injury. I listen. I'm not one for conspiracy theories. I do think he's really injured, but it's very easy to like make news out of this.
He fell and broke his contract.
He broke his finger signing the contract.
Yeah. But yeah, I think realistically it shouldn't be Dinamo because there's no this side should not win a title.
In this.
They shouldn't
even be in the conversation.
So I would go Rijeka, but I think that's more just I'm conditioned to think Hajduk just aren't going to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas Rijeka still, at least you kind of know what to expect from them. You know, okay, they might lose a game here and there, but generally, out of every 9 points that are available to them, they're probably going to get 5.
True.
That in this standard of league where it's just watching 3 teams run like the QOP game to the finishing line of the title, that's probably going to be enough.
Yeah, I'm also going with Rijeka. I've spoken about this with many people. I still think Rijeka is possibly the best team. The only thing that goes in Hajduk's favor is that you have Dinamo and Rijeka, your last 2 games at Poljud. So it's to be or not to be for you in those last 2 games if you're fighting for the title with both sides.
I mean, that would be one. That would be a hell of a way to lose a title. If you go in last 2 games, 5 clear, lose.
Imagine that you lose to Dinamo and you're like, okay, we still have a chance. We're still 2 points in front of Rijeka. We can do this. We can do this. And then Rijeka absolutely humiliates you at Poljud, and it's last season all over again, except right at the end.
I think it would be funny.
No.
For me,
but for you, yes. For me, I would be crying my teeth. I would be crying my eyes out. I've come to a conclusion. You're not gonna hear from me, whatever the result is.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, whatever it is, you're not gonna hear from me. But yeah, the problem with Hajduk is you have those last 2 games at home, which is a big plus because 2 derbies at home, you immediately have some advantage. The problem is you're playing against other sides away. You're playing against Gorica away, in between the Dinamo and the Rijeka match.
And aside from that, you're also playing those 2 really big games at home in your last 4. And like I say, the noise, the pressure, the intensity, that is going to really be the ultimate mental test. If you can get through that, and it's just what have Hajduk shown of this generation of Hajduk? Because this isn't this season. Let's be honest.
No. Gattuso has also mentioned that this has been long standing in Hajduk's culture in the last 2 decades.
Yeah, but I mean, even just for this generation of this side, really, it's 4 seasons that have sort of been building and building and building and building and building, and the expectation in those games will be building and building and building, and that it is the ultimate trial by fire, and it would be now or never for them. Livaja's not getting any younger. And like you say, from a monetary perspective as well, necessarily getting those big fees that allow you to keep like some a Livaja or something like that, and you just wonder, well, actually, at the end of the season, what's what's next.
Yeah, if we don't win this season, this summer is gonna be selling at least 3 players.
Mm-hmm.
Pogsta's probably being one of them, but not for the money we could have gotten last year. Sigurd, most likely,
Mm-hmm.
and
Dudov.
Durdov, yeah. Even though I think he should have been sold this winter to Club Bruges, because if you're gonna cash in, you gotta cash it as soon as possible, because
Mm.
anything can go wrong.
Yeah, and plus particularly Bruges' reputation is good.
Yeah,
That's a club you want someone to be going to, because whatever you sell is, if you're putting 20% on that, you're going to get a decent return from it.
yeah. And what else about Hajduk? I'm speaking about Hajduk's season for ages, but at this point, this next match is the first glimpse of what we can see from Rijeka and Hajduk in a title fight, and matches that matter. I mean, every
Yes.
match matters now, but especially the derbies.
And it would be like two drunk seagulls flying over a kebab.
I just hope it's more entertaining than the last derby at the Ruevica.
I think, to be fair, both sides would probably take a really boring 0-0 draw. We wouldn't appreciate
I
it, but I think they would both
Yeah.
absolutely take it right now.
I
To
mean,
still,
from Hajduk's perspective, I just see it like anything that happens, you're still in it. So you all out. If you win,
Mhm,
you have a massive lead, like 4 points at this stage. You're the favorite, no
mhm.
matter what. You have 2 games in hand. You can throw a game, and you're still in front. So
But we said the same about Koroglan last season
last year,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Only problem is Karoglan wasn't in front.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. The problem with Hajduk all these years was we've constantly been chasing Dinamo.
Mhm,
Last season we were chasing Rijeka, and then we fell behind Dinamo as well, so we weren't chasing anybody.
mhm,
Uh, but at this point, we're the ones that are being hunted. If we draw, I'll take a draw. At the Rujevica, we're still in front. You're still first place, and
mhm,
you're done away from home against Rijeka and Dinamo, and you haven't lost in the league to both of them. So that's that's amazing,
mhm.
considering that how past seasons have gone, especially against Rijeka. But we have the better head-to-head against Dinamo. So if in that case Dinamo somehow gets back into it and we're tied on points, we're gonna not win the league, but we're gonna be a part of Dinamo.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's at the end of the day, that's the margin it might come down to, just the results between everyone.
Yeah, it is very. I mean, it's stupid to say it's close because Dinamo is what 5 points behind Rijeka and 6 points behind Hajduk, but that's if Dinamo gets going, that's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You know at some point they're coming. They're just going to embark on their Terminator period, but they're not.
Not yet. Let's go to Osijek, even though they're seventh.
Yeah,
Federico Copitelli is leaving the club. That's a guarantee now.
yeah.
It's most likely going to happen after this weekend.
It's felt like that's been happening for the past few weekends, but Sopic was there last weekend,
Yeah,
and yeah, we're gonna have him back.
most likely. Tomic has also been called by Osijek. Rojban has been in the talks, but I think Sopic is probably the best candidate and probably the man you want in charge. Uh, Osijek just, for some reason, can only beat Dinamo.
Yeah, just I don't really think anyone really knows why it's just not worked for Copitelli. There's nothing about their
Yeah, they're
play.
not playing. They're not playing that badly. They're still. It's the same thing at the start of the season. They were doing fine. They were playing well. Just
Mm-hmm.
you're missing that end product, just that one last touch. But if you can't find it in March, as you could have find it in what July and August,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna find it now.
Particularly when at the end of the day you spent money on Jukupovic for a
Yeah,
start, but it's hardly the only incoming player that they've had this season. It's just not worked, and sometimes things just don't work.
Yeah, and it's Copitelli's first real job in football.
Mm. Yeah, and you always say, well done Osijek for actually having patience and say, we actually back this guy to turn it around.
Yeah,
he hasn't. He's not done badly. This is not.
I mean, he's gotten a semi-final,
Yeah.
of the cup. So if he's still inside that realm of European football.
Yeah, he's not done the sort of job where if he was sacked today rather than on Sunday, then he's gonna not get another job. He'll be absolutely fine for getting another job.
Yeah, we'll see. But we'll see who takes over. Sopic is probably the most likely, I think, just because we've seen him at the games and just in general his performances with Rijeka last season. So yeah, we'll see. Dantas needs to get a new contract. I think. Wait, did he get a new contract? I always forget.
I
don't think he has yet.
Recall having seen.
He hasn't gotten one yet. So if he doesn't stay at Osijek, Dinamo have been said to be rumored around him. Hajduk probably won't have the money if we don't win the league. If we win the league, then maybe you can try your best to put Dantas in the squad.
Mm-hmm.
Considering you're probably gonna sell Pokslas and Sigurd.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Osijek essentially just not doing very good despite Malenic's best efforts every game. Imagine if Shaolin was still in between the sticks.
Well, I mean, they'd probably still be 7th. Because I can't really imagine them actually being too much lower with the squad they have. But yeah, it's. I mean, they're in 7th. They've taken Slavin's position. That's where Slaven Blue were meant to finish. Come on.
Yeah,
guys.
What are Slaven doing in 4th? In 5th? Why are they just 2 points behind 4th?
Yeah, it's
like, guys, I put you guys to go down. Don't you remember that? Yeah, I mean, to be fair to me, at the start of the season, they looked bleak. They looked like nobody could get them outside that 4 run of form under Radelic. But
then they stuck 4 past Dinamo, and the rest.
And then I was gonna say then they hired Mario Kovacic, which I wasn't expecting. But yeah,
and I think the part of it is they've always had someone contributing.
Yeah. They've had Grgic, they've had Nestorovski has been very good. He's still very good at this level. Yeah. The problem is he just has a few problems with fitness, which fair enough. At least he's not Rajkovski.
Yeah.
Because my God, that man, I think he just loves food. I mean, fair play to him. But he just isn't fit. And
Jagosic as well. I mean,
yeah, obviously, rumors of as soon as Jagosic started to perform, Dinamo immediately into him. Immediately made an offer. Immediately talks about Slaven breaking the transfer fee record for the biggest sale, because Varanek left for Bayern for 1.8 million.
Mm-hmm.
So Slaven want 2 million or more for Jagosic to break the record and to earn money, which 2 million for Slaven is massive.
Yeah. But I mean, this is the problem. You have so many sides that I don't say much for muchness. But obviously, we mentioned Slaven because they have sort of stories behind them. Istra, Varazin, and Lokomotiva don't really have stories behind them.
They don't
at the present time. Varazin are just the same reasonably good side they've been all season. Except they've not got Shingo anymore, so they're a little bit worse than they were at the start of the season. But hey ho, Lokomotiva had anything into the autumn, but have picked it back up because, like you say, Vivancic has picked his form up, and
Modražija has also just continued.
Yeah, and Istra haven't gotten much better. They haven't gotten much better, but they haven't gotten any worse. I'm not really sure what the point of what I was just said is there, but I know what I mean. You know, they're changing their style. They're changing their style. It's applied itself reasonably well. Again, you can sort of see what journey they're on, but it's not quite had the results as yet. But again, that's what the cup's for them.
Yeah.
Between here and the end of the season, which leaves us with 2 at the bottom.
Yep, Gorica and Šibenik.
Yeah,
Gorica, as we mentioned already, have been doing better and better under Tsarevic, so it's really hard to see Šibenik providing any kind of fight to stay up.
Yeah, I mean, it's really the past few games where Gorica have been able to pull away. But I say it's because they've added better in the winter than Šibenik did. And really,
and Šibenik just signed. They just signed Antonio Jakolic.
Yeah, and it's not.
That's not a massive signing that's gonna help you. That's more of a signing. Hey, you're gonna be with us next season and probably fighting again to be back in the HNL.
Yeah, and really, go back a couple of weeks. Obviously, Gorica beating them. But Šibenik had most of the momentum that game because, they had the entire second half with a man advantage because Antiote was silly.
Very silly.
But that's you can just say that's your turning point. That's when Gorica pulled themselves away. That's when Šibenik have lost it, unfortunately, for them. And
well, they still tied to Rijeka.
Yeah, fair play.
At least something. They got a point on Gorica this weekend, but you're gonna need to do a lot better if you want to at least a fight to stay up.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, again, their next few games, obviously they've got to go to Poland for one. They'll be facing a new manager, Osijek. So it's hard to see where their turnaround can come.
Yeah, you gotta face Hajduk twice. Obviously, last game of the season is Hajduk.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you have one more game against Rijeka, one more game against Dinamo, and as you mentioned, Osijek. So, if you can win one of those games, then maybe, but that means that in every other game you need to do very good.
Yeah, and I don't see it.
Yeah, I also don't see it, and the problem obviously are the financials because some players have not been getting paid. So where's the motivation for the players if you're probably gonna live in the summer anyway?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see that. I mean, we'll see them in the second tier, and then whoever comes up because obviously that's a 3-way by itself.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, let's finish it off with the second tier where it's very tight. The top 3 club, actually Vukovar and Opatija, are doing their best to keep Sesvete in it.
Yeah,
they both went on a run of 4 or 5 draws in a row together.
I think Opatija just kind of Rijeka in terms of they don't lose games.
Yeah, they've lost one game.
Shitload of them.
I mean, they are playing at Alcantara, so the Rijeka spirit is there.
Exactly, yes.
So, and I gotta mention Zrinski, who's gone absolutely to the shitter.
Yeah. They needed it to work out last season.
Yeah, and obviously it hasn't, and the owner has absolutely given up on them and is searching for a new club to take over.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him, because obviously the highness was against them in the last game of last season against Šibenik.
And I'll just mention, just from something from this midweek, Zekic, just purely that he's just sat on the bench.
Cigarette.
Yeah, just like
Yeah,
just get
that's
on
not
camera smoking
no.
smoking
That
on the bench.
he did the same thing in the HNL. I think there was a
Yeah,
replay where he just starts getting the cigarette up, and then he sees the camera. He's like, "Oh, nice,
yeah.
nothing
Oh
to
no,
see
he was
here."
absolutely fine. He was just keeping on going against Strinsky
Yeah, no,
this time around.
I saw they beat Zrinski in the cup, so
Yeah,
very good on him. He's doing very good with Sarajevo, and Guliashvili is also a very good player.
yeah. He's had a great season.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, they're. I mean, it's completely off topic now, isn't it? But I
How
mean,
wait, how is Boras doing against? Obviously, I'm
oh,
not a fan of
they
Boras, but
were. I last time I checked, so Cellier are out. They were well. I just didn't know that they're out.
oh
Out.
my god, it's
Oh
another
God!
time.
Holy shit! Sorry, excuse my French
It's an
there.
extra time.
Cellier are second half
4-4. Oh,
four
they're leading
four
up 5-4.
four. Oh my word! So Cellier were going
Oh
out.
my god, what happened here?
Kushis with a 95th minute penalty to keep them in it. And then Nieto putting them in front. Borat
Yeah.
are again second half just come to the end of the first half of extra time, and Rapid have scored to go
Yeah, and Bello
2-1 up.
scored and assisted.
Yeah,
So nice to see. Yeah, the Conference League is. Imagine what Rijeka and Hajduk would have been doing here, and Osijek probably. We could have had
having
3 clubs here, probably.
having a great time.
We wouldn't be recording right now, is what I'm trying to say.
No.
God's sake, please next season get your shit together, guys. But they
Yeah,
probably won't.
no. I mean, let's be honest. What of this season have we seen to suggest there's any evidence of that?
There is no evidence.
But
But yeah,
and that's why you're watching. That's why you're watching / listening to this, because we're talking about terrible sides.
yeah.
Someone's
But
got to.
it's an entertaining title fight, which we haven't had. I mean, we've had the last season, but this season it looks like it's gonna be more entertaining just because
It's
all
going to
three
be entertaining
sides.
to the end,
Yeah,
rather
because
than
all three sides are shit,
yeah.
and nobody really stands out. So yeah, but yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening / watching, as Richard said, and I'll do my best to stay healthy and not screw up my uni work, so I get more time. But
Well,
enjoy this weekend, and I hope Hajduk can get a good result in Rijeka.
fingers crossed.
Oh, are you a fan of Hajduk now?
I'm showing solidarity.
Fair enough. I'll take it. Anyways, have a good night, and or have a good day or morning when you're listening to this. So see you next time. I won't make any promises for next week.
Bye.
Bye bye.